And if you want to work fewer hours, you want to travel more, you want to spend time with those people you love, but you still want to make good income, you got to learn how to lead people. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So your job as a leader is to paint a crystal clear picture of where you're going, a vision so freaking compelling that people want to follow you there. When we implemented EOS as a sort of trellis for growth, my workload dropped from like 30 hours a week down to like 5. So without structure, leadership turns into babysitting. With structure, leadership becomes multiplication. So your team, they need clarity, obviously, more than they need comfort. You don't have to hug everyone. Now I'll admit, I struggle with this tip. I want to be everyone's friend. I want everyone to like me. The key to scaling is not doing more and more and more. It's letting go of more. The best leaders, they aren't the ones who never make mistakes. They're the ones who make decisions when everyone else freezes. You're not just going to make millions of dollars as a leader. You're going to build leaders who go out and multiply your impact. Leadership is not something you learn from a book on leadership. It's something you learn from leading, from making mistakes, from failing, adjusting, and improving. And today, you get to skip ahead. You get to learn from my failures as a leader so you don't have to make the same once. I'm going to give you 7 leadership qualities that made me millions of dollars. Hey, let me start with the cold, hard truth. If you want to, let's say, make millions of dollars in your life, you're going to need to know how to lead people. Now, if you want to help other people at scale, you want to help people, you want to put a real dent in the universe, guess what? You're going to have to learn to lead people. And if you want to work fewer hours, you want to travel more, you want to spend time with those people you love, but you still want to make good income, you got to learn how to lead people. And I'm going to be honest with you, I used to hate the idea of leadership. I mean, why lead people? Why deal with the headache, right? I can do it all alone, right? I can figure it out. No one can do it as good as me. I mean, that was my mindset for years, really. But I learned a lesson the hard way. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I wanted to be a millionaire and I wanted to invest in real estate and build a portfolio. And to do that, I had to learn how to lead other people. Doing it all myself sucked. I mean, like I used to do when fixing up properties, I would find a tenant, I would screen the tenant, I would fix the toilets, I would do a roof, I would fix a foundation, I would do all of it. I mean, I have been in the most disgusting places on a property simply because I don't want to lead. It was too complicated, too hard. Now, when it came to leadership, it just maybe kind of scared me, right? I didn't know how to be a good leader. I don't like confrontation. All those things stopped me. And I've never read a classic leadership book. Like not one. I've never read one book that's like, that's the leadership book. Now, I've read hundreds of books though that have actually made me a better leader because leadership is not something you learn from a book on leadership. It's something you learn from leading, from making mistakes, from failing, adjusting, and improving. And today, you get to skip ahead. You get to learn from my failures as a leader so you don't have to make the same once. So I'm gonna give you 7 leadership qualities that made me millions of dollars. Take some notes here. Don't forget to hit the little like button if this resonates. Number 1, establish a clear vision. So people don't follow leaders because they're the loudest. They don't follow them because they've got some fancy title or a big bank account. People follow leaders because they have a vision worth following. So there's a quote from one of my favorite fiction books of all time, Red Rising. It perfectly captures this. The quote is this. He says, "You do not follow me because I'm the strongest." Pax is one of the characters. "You do not follow me because I'm the smartest." Mustang is another character. "You follow me because you do not know where you are going. I do." Oh, I love that quote. So your job as a leader is to paint a crystal clear picture of where you're going, a vision so freaking compelling that people want to follow you there. Because if you don't define the vision, no one else is going to do that for you. And without vision, people just wander and they're lost. So if you want a little cool free tool, I built an AI tool that'll actually help you create a compelling, powerful future vision for your future. Super cool. It's free. Try it out. abetterlife.com/vision. Moving on, number 2. Build a trellis to grow on. So a great leader doesn't just rally people with inspiration and vision, which is part of it. They also create structure that allows that vision to grow. So think of your business like a grapevine, right? If you plant a vine and let it grow wild, it's just chaotic. It just spreads everywhere, gets tangled. It doesn't actually produce very much fruit. But if you build a trellis, like a support system, it grows strong, it grows structured, and it grows fruitful. In business, your trellis is your organizational structure. There's a program called EOS, or an operating system called EOS comes in really handy, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. It was made popular in a book by Gino Wickman called Traction. Now, look, I have no affiliation with EOS. I'm just a huge fan. I use it in all my companies. When we implemented EOS as a sort of trellis for growth, my workload dropped from like 30 hours a week down to like 5. Now, why? Because we had structure. I wasn't managing the company anymore. A system, a trellis was holding it all together. So EOS includes things like establishing and living by core values, creating systems for hiring A players, establishing annual goals and establishing quarterly goals for the business and for the company, and then aligning them all together. It even establishes like when you meet as a team and how you make those meetings effective. How do you make them efficient? How do you make them not that often? So without structure, leadership turns into babysitting. With structure, leadership becomes multiplication. All right, number 3, speak truth with courage. Most leaders really struggle with one of two things. They're either on one of these two camps. They either A, avoid hard conversations because they don't want to upset people, or B, they bulldoze people with, what they call tough love, and they just lose trust. Now, great leadership means telling the truth, but doing it with courage and care. So your team, they need clarity, obviously, more than they need comfort. You don't have to hug everyone. They need to know where they stand. They need to know what's expected of them. They need to know where they're dropping the ball, where they need to improve. So the best leaders out there, they say what needs to be said, even when that's a hard thing to do. But they do it in a way that makes their people feel empowered, not torn down. Now, I'll admit, I struggle with this tip. I want to be everyone's friend. I want everyone to like me. I've been yelled at before at work. Early on in my career when I had jobs and bosses I do something wrong, I would hate that feeling when they yell at me. And so my overactive sense of empathy makes me hate giving negative feedback to people. But I've realized a couple things. First, those times that I did get negative feedback in the past, it was usually justified and it actually helped me improve. I would not be the guy I am today without people telling me I could do better. That's love, right? Imagine raising kids, right? I love this metaphor. It's like raising kids, but you never discipline them. You never tell them when they screw up. That's not love. That's cowardice, and it's gonna create some messed up kids. And second, there are ways to give constructive feedback without being a jerk about it. You can offer people solutions and help without making them hate you, right? Often people know they've screwed up, and so all I need to do is ask questions, and it comes out. And then they both admit the mistake, and they come up with solutions or lessons from it. That leads to my next point, actually. Number 4, coach to solve problems. So leadership is not actually about having all the answers. I think people often think it is. It's about asking the right questions. So if I walk into a meeting and tell everyone what the solution to their problem is, even if my solution is right, what did that actually do? It made me the hero. I'm the guy who solves all the problems. So I'm training everybody on my team to just come to me with all their problems, and then I'll fix them. And then when I give them my answer, my solution, here's a question for you. Do you think they'll ever fully take ownership of the process of implementing the solution? It's unlikely because it came from me, not from them. So instead of solving every problem for your team, for your direct reports, coach them to solve problems on their own. So for example, ask, what do you think before giving your own opinion? Or what have you already tried before jumping in to fix things? Or one of my favorites, I love this question. If somebody came to you today and was asking for help with the same problem, what advice would you give them? I love that because it just spins the table and they start thinking as a leader themselves. So your job as a leader is to build thinkers, not just blind followers. If your team always needs you to make decisions, you don't have a team, you have a bottleneck. All right, number 5, give a crap about your people's lives. Now, I don't mean fake surface level, how was your weekend? Small talk around the water cooler. I mean, actually deeply caring for the people and about the people who work for you. For example, do you know what actually drives them? What motivates them? Do you know what's happening in their lives outside of work? Do you ever ask them what's going on outside of work? And do you support their goals, even beyond their job with you? Do you know what their personal goals are? The leaders that people remember, the ones that they want to follow and they stick with, they aren't just the ones who win, they're the ones who care. Number 6, delegate, don't abdicate. Oh, the hardest lesson that I've had to learn as a leader is letting go. I used to think that I had to be involved in absolutely everything, that if I wasn't personally touching it, then it wouldn't get done right. But here's what I've learned over the years of failing as a leader. The key to scaling is not doing more and more and more, it's letting go of more. But, and this is the big key here, delegation is not the same as abdication. So abdication is throwing things over the fence and hoping for the best. Delegation is giving ownership, but still tracking key results. And that's why in a business, as a leader, you need KPIs, key performance indicators. Now that takes us right back to EOS and having a scorecard with all the performance performance indicators, all the numbers that are like plainly written and reviewed every single week. And that includes, by the way, both lead measures, LEAD, lead measures, and lag measures, LAG. So lead measures are things that lead to the result you want. The lag measure is the thing that you want. Let's say you have a real estate business like I do. You've got someone on your team who's in charge of finding off-market real estate properties. Now, you could just lob that job over the fence into their yard and hope they do a good job. And you know what? Maybe they will, but most likely they won't, or at least they won't do it the way you want. Because that's abdication. Instead, you coach them to establish the lead and lag measures that'll get those off-market deals. So maybe you and your team member agree that A, they're gonna send 1,000 direct mail letters every week, and B, they're gonna have 20 conversations with motivated sellers every week, and C, they're gonna make at least 10 offers every single week. And they're gonna try to buy those properties. Now, notice that the first 3 were lead measures. A person has complete control over that. You know, the last one of like actually buying the property, if we want to make that a goal, they want to buy one a week or one every other week, whatever. Now that's a lag measure, which it tells us the results. So every single week, a good leader is gonna sit down with their direct report and look at the lead and lag measures and find out how they're actually doing. Like, are they doing the work? And if they are, is it leading to the lag result they want? Are we getting the results? That's your job as a leader, to hold them accountable with KPIs. Do you see how that's way different from just like lobbing it over the fence, hoping and praying that something works out? And you know what? Sometimes the lead measures aren't gonna lead to the lag measure you want. They're doing the work, they're not getting the results. Well, then it's time to get in there and coach them to create better lead measures. So give your people responsibility, trust them to execute, but watch the numbers, because what gets measured improves. Finally, tip number 7, be decisive in the face of uncertainty. The best leaders, they aren't the ones who never make mistakes. They're the ones who make decisions when everyone else freezes. When all the facts are out there, when you don't know the best path forward still, you're like, this is what it is and I don't know what to do. Most people freeze. The reality is you will never have all the information to make a perfect decision. There's always going to be risk. You're always going to wish you had more certainty, but the best leaders, the millionaire leaders, they don't wait for perfect clarity. They make the best decision that they can with the information that they have. And then they course correct along the way. If things go wrong, you take ownership of it. It's your fault. You're the leader, and you lead them then in a new direction. Because what's worse than that is indecision. Indecision is worse than making the wrong choice. If you master these 7 principles, you're not just going to make millions of dollars as a leader. You're going to build leaders who go out and multiply your impact. You're going to free yourself from being the absolute bottleneck in your business, and you're going to create a legacy that just outlives you. So go lead and go build something worth following, and follow me for more information on building wealth, probably through real estate, but whatever, without losing your soul. I'm Brandon Turner, signing off.